In this episode of Soldier Knows Best, we're going to be comparing the specs and new features of the brand new iPhone 5s to the previous generation, the iPhone 5, to see which one is going to be the best deal for you. So let's go ahead and start the show. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Mark Watson, otherwise known as Soldier Knows Best, and I'm your host here for Soldiers Tech Battlefield. Now, the big news today is that Apple has announced the brand new iPhone 5s. Now, we've seen a lot of rumors about it, and most of the stuff we already knew was going to be coming, but they announced the iPhone 5s, and a lot of people are asking me this question: should I upgrade from the iPhone 5 to the 5s? Well, in this video, I'm just going to be comparing some of the initial specs and things like that made both of these devices different, and hopefully it'll give you a better perspective about which device you should probably stick with. First off, with the design, they both have the same characteristics, that two-tone back, and from a glance, they definitely look the same. Now, the big difference with this iPhone 5s when it comes to design is that it now has the champagne color or the gold color now that you can get. But for the most part, both of the phones are going to look practically identical to the naked eye when you first look at them. And the more significant changes happen on the inside. And with the iPhone 5s, when it comes to the processor, it's rocking the new A7 processor compared to the A6 processor that's in the iPhone 5. Now, this processor is a 64-bit processor, so it can do 32-bit and 64-bit. And you combine the fact that iOS 7 is also 64-bit optimized, this iPhone 5s should be blazing fast when it comes to the OS and other pieces of software that are optimized for it. But the iPhone 5 still is pretty doggone good. You're still going to be able to get good results in gaming or other applications, things like that, with the A6 processor. Now, Apple's also throwing this new M7 motion co-processor for the iPhone 5s, and this is going to be a processor that should be dedicated just for tracking whether you're walking or driving or standing still for fitness applications or even map navigation. Now, when it comes to the camera, the initial specs are the same. They both have an 8 megapixel rear facing camera and a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera, but the camera is improving on the iPhone 5s. Now it's going to be able to reach an aperture of f2.2, and also they have this new true two-tone flash, which is basically just a dual LED flash that has one warm light and one cool light, and they can combine to make sure you get the right flash lighting for your situation that you're taking pictures in. And also the 5s does have a 10 frames per second burst mode and also 120 frames per second slow motion mode that's going to be capturing that video in 720p HD. So hopefully that turns out nice. But you can see that the camera is improved. They don't bump up the megapixels. They really just make the megapixels larger, kind of like what the HTC has done with the ultra pixel camera. Then also really the last major change with this iPhone 5s compared to the iPhone 5 is going to be this new Touch ID fingerprint sensor that's going to be built into the home button. And this is going to allow you to just basically scan your finger to unlock your phone, to sign into iTunes. So if you download a song, you don't have to type in your password anymore. And basically on the iPhone 5, I mean, you got to type in your password every single time or use a passcode lock or something like that. And now this Touch ID is giving you an alternative to that with this iPhone 5s. And so ultimately, both of these phones are going to be pretty similar to each other. They both have the same dimensions and weight, so they're not going to feel any different in your hands. And so as I wrap this up, guys, I mean, the iPhone 5s does have a couple features that are very unique to it. It is going to have a better camera. Now, how better is this camera going to be than the iPhone 5s? We'll have to wait and see for my test, but it is going to be a better camera. This Touch ID sensor is something that is totally new. And so as far as upgrading, I have to say that this iPhone 5s does have some, a couple of unique features to it, but it's not really one feature that is like, I just have to have this to change the way I use my phone on a daily basis. So I would say that if you have an iPhone 5 right now, you may want to go into the Apple Store and use the 5s, or wait for my reviews or other people's tech reviews of the 5s to see really how much better is that camera, and does the fingerprint sensor actually work. But other than that, I'm really going to wait to see whether this 64-bit architecture can really take off. But we're probably going to have about 6 months before we see applications really start to take advantage of that fully. So by that time, you're going to be really close to the next iPhone coming out. So I would say most people can probably hold off on this update to the 5s, but I'm going to be getting it. And I know some of you are. I'm not going to say don't get it, but I think you'll probably be just fine with the iPhone 5 if you're on the fence. So anyway, guys, it's been my video here comparing the iPhone 5 and the 5s. Leave your comment down below what you think about this latest phone from Apple. And thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will catch you later. Peace.